Ed, the gas prices are high. What are you going to do about it?
Energy policy is another one of the top challenges that we have going forward in this country. And it's not just gas prices, although of course that's how we all feel it most directly. It is the price of oil. It is the price of fossil fuels. What are we going to do finally to reduce our dependence on fossil fuels? That's what's causing, in part, higher gas prices. You know, this is kind of like deja vu all over again for me, because I went into Congress in 1975 with Senator Spark Matsunaga 6 months after the Arab oil embargo, when gas prices went up and everybody said, what can we do? And we believed at the time that we needed to move towards alternative energy, towards energy conservation. So on the supply side, try to provide another kind of energy than just going back to the well on fossil fuels all over again. And on the demand side, get a little bit more conservative in terms of the energy usage in our cars. And we did a pretty good job for a little while, and then frankly we let it go. And over the last couple of years we really have put our heads in the sand, to be really honest. President Bush came out with an energy bill that focused on the development of fossil fuels, gave billions of dollars to the big oil companies. Senator Akaka voted for that. I voted against it because I thought it was the wrong direction for us to go in overall energy policy. I believe in developing alternative energy, solar, geothermal, wind, waves, and one of the most exciting areas of alternative energy for us here in Hawaii, energy from agricultural products. We could lead the world in this area. And I think we've got to go down this road, and we've got to do the equivalent of a Manhattan Project in terms of alternative energy. I've just co-introduced a bill in Congress with a number of other colleagues to do exactly this. We also, of course, need to go back to the conservation side of it. One of the real disappointments from my perspective on energy over the last couple of years was when we let go what we call the corporate average fuel economy standards for our cars, where we require that all of our cars be a little bit more energy efficient. We let that lapse. That's a mistake. We've got to go back to alternative energy on the supply side and conservation on the demand side. And I believe that that will sustain our prices over time.
Congressman Case, Senator Akaka's campaign has been talking a lot about the Patriot Act recently. What are your views on what we can do to balance liberty and security?
Well, this is, of course, a part of a much broader debate that we have. How do we, in fact, protect our national security, especially in a time of such rapid change in our world, a time of the reality of terrorism? You know, sometimes I hear people saying terrorism is just an anomaly, and I think to myself, that is so wrong. Terrorism, whether we like it or not, is very real, and the obligation of your government, the first and foremost obligation, is to protect American citizens. That is what our government is all about. That's what my obligation as a United States Senator will be. First and foremost, protect American citizens. But that doesn't mean that our government gets to do whatever it wants to do to protect us. We have been presented with this choice by too many people: security or privacy, civil liberties or defense. I don't believe we have to accept that choice. Now, in terms of the Patriot Act was enacted before I was elected to Congress. Senator Akaka actually voted for the Patriot Act when it was first elected. What we have been dealing with in recent times is what we call Patriot Act 2, which was a reauthorization of the Patriot Act. And the debate there was not whether we needed the law enforcement tools to investigate terrorism, to prevent terrorism. Everybody agreed that the tools that we needed, wiretapping potential terrorist phones, tracking potential terrorist bank records, all of those tools that were not available before the Patriot Act was enacted, there was no question that we needed to go forward with that. The question was whether there were sufficient protections of our privacy. In the original Patriot Act, those protections weren't there. I believed that the original Patriot Act was a problem from that perspective. But in Patriot Act 2, going forward, the final vote that I took was on a bill that I believe did incorporate protections like search warrants and independent court say-so in terms of what the government can and can't do. So I felt it was a good balance between privacy and security. For the same reason, I don't support President Bush's unwarranted, unauthorized surveillance through the National Security Agency. Why? I'm sure it's a good idea for the national security agencies to be able to do some of the things it's doing, but not without protections, not without an independent look-see over the shoulder of the NSA. That's what I want. And we can balance that one too.